Hello and welcome to the Hardison and Cochran podcast. I'm your host, Bill Campbell, and I hope my voice sounds a lot more lively this week. Last week I did have a sinus infection, and I'm sorry if I did sound down. Today is the second podcast we have along with the Autism Society of North Carolina in conjunction with our partnership with them and Carolina Athletics with Team Autism North Carolina. And if you want more information on our partnership with Autism Society of North Carolina and Carolina Athletics, you can go to teamautismnc.com and get all the information about that. And if you're looking for information on autism topics, go to autismsociety-nc.org. Now, in today's podcast, we have an interview with Kim Tizzard. She is the Director of Family Support at the Autism Society of North Carolina. And during our interview, we talked about what a family goes through when the diagnosis is given that they have a child who has autism, and, you know, the programs, the educations, and the support that is available from the Autism Society of North Carolina when that happens. And here's the interview. Now, Kim, from your experience, what are the feelings of the parents and the family once the diagnosis is given by a doctor?
You know, what a family experiences and goes through a gamut of emotions includes fear and denial, sometimes grief, and being very overwhelmed would be the core emotions I think the majority of parents experience when they first get the diagnosis.
From your experience, what do you think they need to help them after they get the diagnosis to maybe calm their fears of being overwhelmed?
I think just taking a minute and sitting back and just breathing. We always just tell parents, just breathe and take it one step at a time. As the Director of Family Support for Autism Society in North Carolina, what I would love to see parents do after they get the diagnosis is to connect with an autism resource specialist. And we have 19 across the state, and they serve all 100 counties of North Carolina. And what's really, really cool about the resource specialists is they're all parents themselves. They've been there, they get it, they understand it. There's no fee, we're free of charge. We're there to help them, we're there to take them on their journey. And it may be right after getting the diagnosis, they just need somebody that listens and understands. So to me, that would be what I would suggest that parents do first and foremost, is connect with a resource specialist.
Okay, and what type of education does the Autism Society of North Carolina provide to someone or a family that has just learned that they're going to be affected by autism?
There are so many ways that they can access different levels of education through the Autism Society. The first thing would be to go to the website, and the website is incredibly easy to navigate. There now is even a place for families just receiving the diagnosis. It's after the diagnosis, and they can actually go in there and fill out some information and letting us know that they want us to reach out to them. And so resource specialists would then have their contact information. So that's one way we would be able to send out a welcome tip. There's also a calendar of events, and there's all kind of wonderful events, but in that they will find a list of workshops coming up, maybe some webinars coming up. Our clinical department also offers some in-depth workshops that can be half-day workshops. We've got our 2-day conference coming up in March. There are a lot of educational opportunities provided through the Autism Society.
Okay, and this is kind of going back on the question before the type of education. You briefly mentioned resource specialists, and you said these are people who have been affected and kind of been through it. Could you talk a little more about what they do for people who are just learning?
Yes, absolutely. It's knowing that they can call somebody that truly understands and can honestly say that they've walked in their shoes is can be so, I can't tell you how often we actually have parents that may even start to cry, that are just so overwhelmed and just so thankful to have somebody that truly understands what they're going through. And in addition, the resource specialists are there to help connect them to resources in their communities. They can help them with the education process with their local schools or their charter schools in understanding what that may be like. We're there to help educate them and connect them to webinars and workshops and different ways that they can learn. Wonderful resources in their communities and other agencies that also provide support. And another very important thing I want to point out is the Autism Society also has local chapters and support groups that are across the state. There actually are 50 active groups at any given time, a little bit more than 50. And that's a wonderful place for parents to come together for various reasons and feel comfortable meeting and talking to other parents about things that are important to them.
Okay, and after the diagnosis, and a word you keep using is overwhelmed. I would imagine that if somebody that's overwhelmed, some people may shelter themselves, not want to do anything about it, kind of be scared about it. You know, if you're scared, you don't want to face it. How important do you think it is to be involved socially? And when I say that, I mean, if you have a child who has autism, bringing them to these autism events, getting them out, meeting other families, things like that.
It's incredibly important. Parents and caregivers can feel incredibly isolated. Children may have behavioral issues and they're unable to even get out to a grocery store or take their child out in the community. They may feel that nobody understands what they're going through. They may also just find it very, very difficult in trying to figure out how to navigate being out in public. So the chapters are one way that offers some fantastic opportunities for some social outings. We offer at our social rec sites across the state as well, at our run walks. All these are events that families and parents can feel very comfortable in knowing that nobody's going to be staring at them or passing judgment. It's just a safe place and a wonderful opportunity to give families a place where they can even work on some of the goals in working on how to help their loved one even navigate the community. It's just a really great opportunity. The Autism Society really does offer some wonderful, safe, and fun events that everybody in the family can enjoy, whether it's, as a large family with the siblings and with their loved ones, whether it's one of the picnics or one of the social rec site events or the events we have out at camp or the run walks. And all of these opportunities can be found on the calendar, on the website that I mentioned earlier.
Okay, and that website is autismsociety-nc.org, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.